Good evening. It is so good to have you join us on BeeTv Major News at 6, reaching you from Benin City, the Edo State capital, Nigeria. I am Esoa Osemege. Before we let you in on the news in details, here are the highlights of tonight's report.
Is the essence of innovation, a boundless sensation, is not restricted to work alone. We delve into the arts as well.
And other MDAs that have any connection to skills. And so they all came together. That process was led by our board of chief execs, Dr. Tessia. This is just the beginning. We have a document. We must now work together to implement successfully.
The truth is that we believe in one thing. Oredo is the prime local government in the state. So it must be adequately positioned rightly. And for us to achieve success, we want round pegs in round holes. So that is what the nationals saw after the dissolution of the State Working Council.
What we are celebrating today is World Environment Day in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment and Sustainability. We are out there to sensitize the people, to tell the general public what they must do to restore their land, because we are fast losing it because of the way we are handling it. And from the aspect of Waste Management Board, we are telling the people, the Edo people, that they should do proper waste management scheme.
And prosperity, exit, and a clear. Our foremost playwright, novelist, Nobel Prize winner, was brought Nigeria fame and pride of international acclaim.
Just last Tuesday, the 1st of June, I was in far away Istanbul, in Turkey, when I got a news alert that the Senate bears resolution and called me to come back and continue the business of legislation. It is therefore my resolve to, with a profound humility, to Allah, the sustainer and the cherisher, thanking Him for giving us this day and for finding it fit enough, for finding time to be with you once again.
Now to the news in details. We begin. The Edo State Governor, Mr. Gordon Obaseki, has challenged Nigerian leaders to put strategy in place to ensure the nation embarks on manufacturing and production as a way of getting out of economic challenges. Obaseki said this during the launch of the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy and the launch of the Edo State Work-Based Learning Program, an annual public-private sector businesses roundtable on technical talent development held at the new festival hall in Government House, Benin City. BeeTv News Best Orator brings us the details.
Is the essence of innovation, a boundless sensation, is not restricted to work alone. We delve into the arts as well.
Governor Obaseki noted that Nigeria has no choice as a nation but to emphasize manufacturing and production, as that's we get her out of the problem facing her today, adding that Nigeria have no choice than to develop the TVET system. Obaseki said as a country, the people have to place emphasis on manufacturing and production, as that will get everyone out of the problem currently being faced.
As a country, we have no choice but to develop our TVET system. Because up till now, we had the resources to continue to import most of the things we consume. Whatever it is, whether it's the clothes we wear, the furniture we use, the cars we drive, everything. Because we had the petrodollars, we could always import. So there was no emphasis on making things ourselves here. Today, we are where we are. But we will not disappear. What must now happen is for us to now understand and realize that those things we used to go and buy from outside, we must now make ourselves.
Governor Obaseki said since he assumed office as governor of the state, they have focused on the people, and the purpose is to use the resources to place Edo people at the front burner of development and make them globally competitive. He used the opportunity to thank all the partners in the journey of 7.5 years as they have helped in the area of vocational education and others.
I said my dream has always been that by the time a child is 15 and in JSS 3, that child must go to work. You must go and do something. Use your hands. That's why growing up you have what you call hand work. And thereafter encourage them to go to technical schools. And as I'll point out, if it is possible, we should not admit people into our technical schools who are not already working.
The Commissioner for Education in Edo State, Dr. Joan Osalviawe, said the business roundtable is first of its kind, as both the government and the organized private sector in the state came together to talk about how to provide learning opportunities, skills acquisition opportunities for the TVET students. She noted that this is the reason why His Excellency Governor Obaseki launched the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy and the Workplace Program.
And other MDAs that have any connection to skills. And so they all came together. That process was led by our board of TVET, Dr. Tessia. This is just the beginning. We have a document. We must now work together to implement successfully.
She says his government cannot do it alone. It is the reason they have to work closely with the industries. Best Orator reporting for
Still on matters in Edo State, the recent court clashes between rival court groups in the state over the past few days has become worrisome to most persons in Edo State. Some respondents in the Benin metropolis highlighted ways the government can curb courtesan in Edo State to forestall the killings. The report. At least 150 persons have been killed in court-related activities and homicides since January 2024 in Edo State. In a remark to the latest development, Governor Obaseki said his government had declared a total war against courtesan and set up a special task force headed by the Director of the Department of State Services to check courtesan. Some respondents in Benin City who spoke to BeeTv news crew pinpointed some of the ways the government can use to eradicate courtesan in its entirety, while some of the respondents centered it on the importance of empowering youths with job opportunities, stating that an idle mind is a devil workshop, and if they are busy with meaningful activities, they would have no time to engage in courtesan and other related crimes. Others added that treating the root causes of courtesan have a significant impact in curbing it, while emphasizing religious bodies and families to sit up to their responsibility in the society.
I suggest and I prefer for a government to give them, locate them for job doing. Someone that have a job doing, I don't believe that his mind will be, he will have a double mind to do a crime issue any longer. But in Englishman said, idle mind is a devil workshop.
But before you eradicate something, you must first of all identify the cause. Until they know the cause, one of the causes of cultism is people feeling insecure in school, and they feel that when they enter cults, they will be secure. So if government should make sure that children go to school and feel secure. Number two is to have purposeful education system. Not presently what we are running.
If the law is implemented, that is all. Parents still have a lot of work to do. The parents, the guardians, brothers and sisters, talk to your family members. To kill is not good, it's evil.
In a different perspective, some others said that government authorities should not patronize cultism. Therefore, mechanisms should be put in place to fish out those involved in such activities and be punished accordingly.
If you are making a law, the government know the law that go to courtesy. Courtesy is a bad society. You're not supposed to exist in any state. And the other thing, you have to seek the request or opinion of those boys. What is their grievances?
Tackle the foundation of courtesan. When I mean the foundation of courtesan, there are some people sponsoring courtesan in the government setting, and that we know them. So if they can fish out those people and also use the police force, they are not trying. Use the police force to try to track these people because of this bribery and corruption. The police force, most of them get to the police net. Before you know it, they are out of the police net. So those people will go back to society and keep cultivating this courtesan of a thing. So government should tackle it from the roots.
They, however, commended the governor of Edo State for setting up laws in a bid to eradicate and curb the menace of courtesan, which have eaten deep into the societal fabric. Esora Osemege, reporting for BeeTv News. The ongoing crisis within the Labour Party in Edo State has continued due to the emergence of factions owing to the power tussle in the party. BeeTv News Oluwatoyin Oyedola reports that the Oredo local government secretariat was overtaken by angry youths protesting over the change of administration. The report is presented by Best Orator.
The ongoing power tussle affecting the Labour Party in Edo State has deepened, affecting all quarters of leadership, including at the local government level. Upon arrival by BeeTv News crew at the Oedo Secretariat of Labour Party, it was observed that scores of youths were outside the Secretariat in solidarity with the new leadership of Mr. Andrew Osawao as the chairman of Labour Party in Oedo, as they were preparing meals to have a merry celebration. In an interview with BeeTv News, the Oedo local government Labour Party chairman Andrew Osawao stated that due to the change of leadership as the National Working Committee deemed it fit, it has elicited some unfavorable reactions from some angry party members in the local government. He further stated that it is unfortunate that some card-carrying members of the party would instigate such tension as the change of leadership was in the best interest of Labour Party. He said with him and other executive members, a new brand of leadership to drive the party to a new height is already in place in Oedo local government.
The truth is that we believe in one thing. Oedo is the prime local government in the state, so it must be adequately positioned rightly. And for us to achieve success, we want round pegs in round holes. So that is what the nationals saw. After the dissolution of the State Working Council, they decided to reconstitute the local government. Having reconstituted the State Executive Council, they now have RTVA as chairperson of the State Labour Party Executive Council. So the same thing triggers down to all local governments, and Oredo was not an exception. So we had our own, but some persons who felt they love positions. We believe here it's not about positions. Even if we are not here today, we will still work to make the party stay. That's our utmost goal. It's not about position, but about results. So what you are seeing here, that we're having our inaugural meeting, and we heard some disturbance Dan said. We decided to come down to find out. And we saw a cross-section of some youths, and we saw among them a very distinguished honorable, the member representing Oredo West constituency. So we're really amazed to know why they were around, But again, some issues happened, which has been sorted out. But like I said, collectively we are moving Oredo forward. It's not about position, it's about results. And these are result-oriented persons.
Mr. Andrew Osawao added that despite the rancor, the newly inaugurated executive stand firm and resolute in their stance towards elevating the party and encouraged all aggrieved members to do the same.
So right now, Oredo might be passing through some deep waters, but we are used to it. We'll come out stronger and more versatile. Labour Party,
forever.
So we always go forward.
Several youths from across the 12 wards of Owedo local government area came in solidarity with the new chairman. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
The federal government has named the newly inaugurated road after the renowned Nigerian playwright and novelist Wole Soyinka for his contributive efforts to the positive image of Nigeria across the world. President Bola Tinubu expressed approval of the proposal at the inauguration of the Arterial Road project within the federal capital city, Abuja. The report is presented by Oluwarotimi Oguniyi.
The status of Abuja as top Nigerian city with world-class road network is growing. Here is another interior road to enhance connectivity for smoother transportation within the city. 3.5 road with 2 interchanges from the Northern Parkway to the Outer Northern Expressway is connecting the Kubwa Expressway to the Ahmadu Bello Way, thereby in place to relieve motorists of a usual gridlock at busy hours.
And prosperity, exit, and a clear.
And this road is named Wole Soyinka Way.
Our foremost playwright, novelist, Nobel Prize winner, was brought Nigeria fame and pride of international acclaim.
Back to back, it has been a busy week for the Nyesom Wike FCT-led administration, inaugurating infrastructure projects, and his principal commended him for ensuring what he described as a very successful first gear landing for the administration. President Bola Tinubu says these roads springing up across the city is only an indication of a general infrastructural renewal coming across the country.
It's another testament to the actualization of our developmental agenda to transform every part of this country. We will do it. For anybody to challenge you in FCT, it will be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Well, I dare say so, because the facts are there, the things are there. It's not about theory now, it's about the reality. You say you will do this, have you done it? Yes.
The road project was awarded in the year 2000 at the cost 30.6 billion naira. Oluwarotimi Oguniyi, reporting for BeeTv News.
After the strike action embarked upon by the NLC, the union called up the industrial action on Tuesday after meeting with the federal government. Social and economical activities have bounced back as power restoration, financial institutions and more are fully in operation. BeeTv News Freeman Osawe brings details of the story.
A visit to the state secretariat to see the level of response to resumption of work by the workers. By the news crew, it was observed that workers resumed in full, though the workers expressed mixed feelings. Some of the workers interviewed by us expressed joy for returning back to their various offices to carry out their job.
I'm happy, I'm excited coming back to work to do my job. Because staying at home can get a bit bored and tired. So I'm happy that we have resumed and everything is being resolved. I want everything to be resolved perfectly so that we don't have these issues here and there, so that our work will be smooth. We don't have a break.
Oh, fine, it's wonderful. I'm glad to be back at work. It's been, the strike has really almost created a thing that a lot of persons were held back home, and I don't think it's something that will help the system. So coming back is a thing of joy.
Definitely, like every other industrial action, it will definitely reduce the productivity in the economy generally. But I think there are reasons for embarking on the strike. The prices have been inflated. Products maybe by 100% or 50% and so on and so forth. Products that were selling for like 10 naira, maybe 20 naira per product now. So I think it's justified for them to try to raise the minimum wage to at least double what it is right now. 30,000 naira is small. in this present-day markets. And they diminish the transactions, definitely. It can be the same thing. So, but it's a good thing that they call it off. Hopefully the government and the labor leaders to parley and come to an amicable resolution.
Whereas some others stress that the strike action should have been stretched further to send a better message to the government that the labor union were serious in ensuring that the demands of workers were met.
To me, they could have not called off the strike. Reason is this: the federal government will not know the pains for them to call the strike. But had it been they stand on their ground, because the strike did not affect only the governors. It affected the government itself, because they shut down even the airport, of which they too cannot move anywhere. So they could have stand on their ground so that the masses can enjoy too. Because now as they call off, if care is not taken, it will end like that. Or what they are demanding, it will not even reach again. So for me, they could have not called the strike.
Today they were able to do transaction because the strike must have affected a lot of things. But personally, I think the strike would have continued, because it doesn't make sense if you say the minimum wage should be 60,000 at the federal level, and then Edo State is paying 70,000, and then NFC said they wanted 495,000, and I'm sure they must have calculated it. If you are having a family with the cost of fuel, the cost of food, and the cost of things currently in the country, I think that 60,000 doesn't make sense. You get? So I feel they would have continued that strike, and the whole few days strike and everything just got, I don't think it made sense.
Workers have resumed and are happy to carry out their various functions, as they also hope that government would take necessary steps to avoid imminent strike actions, as it usually falls back on the common citizens. Freeman are reporting for BeeTv News.
Still on the strike suspension matters, the Nigerian Senate has commended the Nigerian Labour Congress for its decision to suspend the nationwide strike enforced on Monday. The Senate promised to give legislative backing to the final agreement reached between the federal government and the tripartite committee on a new minimum wage. BeeTv News' Joyce Iyeri has more.
The attendance of Tuesday's plenary section witnesses counter appearance of lawmakers, as there was heavy restriction on access to the National Assembly. This was as a result of the national industrial action imposed by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) on the ongoing negotiations for a new minimum wage and Sitting Order 41 and 51 of the Senate Standing Rules. Senator Dickett Plank attempts to bring the matter up for debate.
The Senate urged the federal government to put measures and modalities in place with a view to nipping in the bud the ugly situation and finally lay to rest the controversy surrounding the national minimum wage matter, as Nigeria cannot afford the huge economic losses occasioned by the industrial action.
However, the Senate opted to raise the debate on the matter following NLC decision to suspend the industrial action to allow for further negotiations, but permitted a few lawmakers to comment on the matter.
This motion, as good as it is, it has been overtaken by the suspension of the strike, and I feel there's no need to discuss the suspension of the strike having been suspended by the NLC and TUC.
The suggestion to the ongoing negotiation, I don't even know where the negotiation will go, because even if it's negotiated, it is the National Assembly that will now make a law to review this one. This one has expired on the 23rd of April.
We thank them for agreeing to go back to the negotiation table. We urge the federal government to expedite action on negotiations in order to arrive at something that is acceptable, at least acceptable to both parties, or something that is reasonably acceptable to both parties.
Tuesday's plenary of the Senate was convened under quiet and unusual circumstances, with restricted access within and outside the National Assembly due to the non-industrial action called by the NLC. The Senate, however, commended the organized labor for its decision to suspend the strike and promised to give legislative backing to the process of enacting a new minimum wage. Joyce Iyeri reporting for BeeTv News.
Moving on, the ALDA committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly to investigate all finances, loans and contracts awarded under the former governor Nasir El-Rufai has submitted its report to the House. Presenting the report during plenary on Wednesday, the chairman of the ADA committee, Henry Zachariah, said that most of the loans obtained under El-Rufai's administration were not used for the purpose for which they were obtained, while in most cases, due process was not followed in securing the loans. Receiving the report, the Speaker of the Kaduna House of Assembly, Yusuf Liman, said that a total 423 billion was siphoned by the El-Rufai administration while leaving the state with huge liabilities. The committee also recommended the immediate suspension of the Kaduna State Commissioner of Finance, Shiza Bada, who also served in the same capacity under the El-Rufai's administration, as well as the chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board. It also recommended thorough investigation of some key appointees of the last administration by appropriate law enforcement and anti-corruption agencies. The committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly was tasked with the assignment of examining loans, grants and project implementation from 2015 to 2023, during which El-Rufai served as governor of the state. The Western Marine Command of Nigeria Customs Service has intercepted and seized 17 sacks containing 1,257 loaves of cannabis sativa. The illicit consignment, weighing 609 kilograms, is valued at over 96 million naira. The report is presented by Oluwarotimi Oguniyi.
As they displayed the sacks of cannabis alongside officers from the command and officials from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Controller Paul Bamishaye revealed that intelligence led to the interception of the consignment along the Badagry waterways.
The Western Marine Command of Nigeria Customs Service, in its continued efforts to purge the western waterways of the offensive activities of smuggling, has intercepted and seized 17 sacks containing 1,257 loaves of cannabis sativa marijuana with a combined weight of 720 kilograms.
In accordance with interagency synergy and collaboration, the sacks of sealed cannabis sativa were handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
It is a matter of continuity. As we are handing over to him now, they will continue with their investigation. We have done our own part, which is just interim.
I use this opportunity to commend the controller for this gesture. At least he just took over when he handed this kind exhibit to us, and it will go a long way. We are at our end. We are going to do our thorough investigation.
In addition, Controller Bamishaye displayed over 500 bags of 50 kg foreign parboiled rice impounded from smugglers along the creeks between Nigeria and Benin Republic.
A joint team of officers and men of the command, while on routine patrol along Paco Creek, Badagry waterways, intercepted one wooden boat. A careful examination, however, of the items being conveyed revealed 505 bags of 50 kilogram foreign parboiled rice.
The boats employed as means of conveyance were also impounded. Oluwarotimi Oguniyi, reporting for BeeTv News.
Moving on. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed the collapse of a mining pit in Shiroro local government area of the state, where 3 persons have been rescued alive with multiple fractures and 2 confirmed dead, while more than 30 persons are still buried under the rubble. Meanwhile, the federal government has also mobilized First Respond ERX to the scene, and the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, in a statement, disclosed that the swift action of the federal government underscores its commitment to mitigating the adverse impact of the incident and rescuing those still trapped in the rubble. The minister recently announced a policy that makes remedial measures for mining pits mandatory as part of the criteria for mining licenses. This is aimed at minimizing the accident. The statement further explains that the minister is actively monitoring the situation at a mining site operated by African Minerals and Logistics Limited. He assures Nigerians of the federal government resolve to investigate the remote causes of the disaster to prevent a recurrence. 2 people have died after a tanker suspected to be carrying liquefied natural gas exploded on the outskirts of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. The blast occurred at the early hours of the morning when the tanker upturned were trying to negotiate the bypass at a flyover. It immediately went up in flames, crushing a saloon car with 2 occupants inside. The Owerri-Ikwere flyover leads to Port Harcourt International Airport in the Ikwere local government area.
From my mirror before I moved that time. I think in the turn, but in the turn is speed. In pressure inside I don't already jack up. So I think jack up. Now as I see him, I just use that initiative to say man move. So as I move to the thing, as I move, the thing I no see dodge and finish. I mean tumble hit me. They don't really my front. He covered that one time. I don't know if somebody said even come up, but I know that the man dey inside or he stand there. So but I see him fall. Now only the man 9 days at my back as I drive the come out, they run, they come.
The high speed where this truck driver overtake me by that timber, that spawning ground. Overtake with man. No man on board, I think they go war. And the same that speed where this young man carry this here. Come down here to turn this motor and it fall down and kill many people. This is not too much. The same thing what happened for Eleme, see happen like this and we are silent.
My advice directly to the company, the driver doesn't have their own issue. The company that owns this thing, they don't train their drivers. They need to train their drivers to know how to respond to the fire at the incipient stage, because the fire have 4 stages where incipients grow, fully develop, and decay. Fire passes all these stages before it extinguishes by itself, even though the fireman doesn't come. But then they are not aware. Instead of them to come in and try to see that yes, this thing, let us know how to train our drivers so that they can do this job, even without the presence of the fireman. I didn't mean the driver have an idea of how to fight fire. They may have even reduce our job.
The Ministry of Environment and Sustainability, in collaboration with the Edo State Waste Management Board, the Edo State Flood Erosion and Watershed, the Forestry Commission, and Parson Gardens, held a campaign to commemorate the annual World Environment Day. The aim of the campaign was to sensitize the Edo residents on the need to do away with practices that are harmful to the environment. BeeTv News Faithful Ogbokam completes the reports.
As a way of keeping the Edo people abreast with the right knowledge against the degradation of the environment, the Ministry of Environment and other stakeholders held a campaign in Benin City, Edo State. The acting CEO of the Edo State Flood, Erosion and Watershed, Mrs. Okenini Osasunwe, while speaking about the initiative, stated that the main aim of the campaign was to create awareness about the consequence of degrading environmental practices, while also listing methods to be adopted for better climate management.
But today we are talking about restoration of our degraded land in Edo State. Recently we had the issue of floods everywhere. We hear people crying, flood, flood, flood. This is as a result of erosion, degraded lands and roads in the city. And this will see that most of the causes are lack of trees, grasses. And so today we are creating awareness that there's need for us to plant grasses, for us to plant trees, stop felling trees, and let's encourage keeping our environment clean.
Osaro Ogbewe, a representative of the Environmental Corps, attributed the present climatic problems to the activities of humans, such as burning of bushes. He declared that the campaign was to ensure that persons know that these actions are wrong.
Environment Day worldwide. That's why we are here to sensitize the people. How you dispose your refuse, how you have to package your refuse for the waste manager to take properly to the right position. Those people that are burning, because there's what we call climate change. It's a result of human being mistakes. I understand when you burn bushes, all those carbon that go to the air, it causes a lot of that. You can see today now, when we were growing up, we have time of season to season, harmattan period, rainy season, but now things are just fluctuating as a result of climate change.
Edeniyere Abraham, a representative of Edo State Waste Management Board, encouraged Edo citizens to engage proper waste management scheme to allow for a safe living environment for all.
What we are celebrating today is World Environment Day in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment and Sustainability. We are out there to sensitize the people, to tell the general public what they must do to restore their land, because we are fast losing it because of the way we are handling it. And from the aspect of Waste Management Board, we are telling the people, the Edo people, that they should do proper waste management scheme to enable us to have our environment clean and healthy for every people to live in.
The Edo citizens and residents are encouraged to adopt necessary measures to ensure the protection of the climate. Faithful Okwoka, reporting for BeeTv News.
And on cost of governance, recent reports have revealed that 30 state governments spent 986.65 billion naira on recurrent expenditures, including refreshments, sitting allowances, amongst others, over a period of 3 months. Some Edo State citizens who were interviewed strongly condemned such exorbitant amount of money spent by the state government on such things as sitting allowances and refreshments in their offices, especially amidst the current economic realities, and that it is a case of misplaced priorities by those in government. They advocated that such money can be reduced and the excess used to empower the less privileged in the state. Details of the report is presented by Gift Uwagboy.
According to a recent data analysis obtained from Open Nigerian States, a website supported by budgets and reports from state budget implementation, no fewer than 30 state governments of the Federation spent 986.6 billion naira on recurrent expenditures, including refreshments, sitting allowances, traveling, utilities, etc. in the first 3 months of 2024. A breakdown showed that the 30 state governments spent 5.1 billion naira on refreshments for guests, 4.67 billion naira on sitting allowances to government officials, 34.63 billion naira on local and foreign travel expenses, and 5.64 billion naira on utility bills, amounting to 50.02 billion naira in the first 3 months of 2024. The general utilities include electricity, internet, telephone charges, water rates, and sewage charges, among others. Many Edo citizens interviewed on the issue strongly criticized the amount expended by those in power, stating that it is way too high as it should be minimized and regulated. They added that policies should be made to ensure reduction in the cost of governance and the excess amount channeled to the empowerment of the citizens, especially the youth, through the provision of jobs to take them off the streets. They also advocated that those in governance should consider the current economic hardship in the country by reducing the cost of governance.
To me, I see it as a fraud, corruption. Going by that, with that, the country will not move forward. Understand? So, because it's unimaginable saying 900 billion be expended on just refreshment. What for? Where people are dying out there. A lot of youths graduate, no job, no industry in the system. So, to me, the politicians are even earning more than what they are earning. They should slash down their whatever allowances your salary is big. They should slash it down. They should reduce it, because they are feeding on the masses of Nigeria, which is wrong.
That one is, I don't know, but it will be very difficult because it has been a norms for them, like even before now, that we're doing that. If they can pass this into law, that this is what they are going to do, no more embezzlement, then I believe maybe if they start from somewhere, they can be able to do that. But if you are just saying they should reduce it, like for now, it's impossible. It's very impossible. But if they can do that, I believe it will be better. It will be better for everybody.
I want to say the money is too much because people are suffering. They should bring the money down, the money they are paying to the president or the governor. They should bring the money down because the hardship is too much in Nigeria. That money can go somewhere. You can still use it to empower the youth, empower the less privileged, empower the people that don't, the needs, people that need it. You see, some of the president, the governor, they will put Ghana must go money inside the house. The money will rot. Why not use those money to empower the youth, to solve problem. People are suffering. So people that have not eaten just once a day, they have not even eaten. The cost of high price things in the market is too much.
However, some other groups of respondents opined that the issue of the cost of governance have always been a problem as it does not show accountability and transparency. They stated that a divine intervention is needed to rid governance of corruption.
The truth of the matter is that the cost of governance has always been high. Even if they talk of adjustment, reduction and all, it has not affected anything. More often than not, we have seen cases where they talk about reducing salaries, whatever. That is not the problem. The major problem we have is this issue of misplaced priorities. You know, in economics, they told us those days that if you have needs, the most pressing ones are the ones that will come first. But unfortunately, what we see today is not like that. Yeah, so that is it. So, to me, the cost of governance has always been high. It is still very high. And there is really nothing we can do about it because it's like these politicians, they don't have fear of God.
You see, corruption has pervaded the air. Corruption has taken over every situation in the country. So if such money or such amount is spent by the state governors and they misuse it, well, so shall it be. But one thing I believe, though, is that human government cannot remedy human situation. It's only God's government that will remedy human situation.
Though financial experts have raised concerns about states spending on recurrent expenditure, they have highlighted the need for those states to embrace financial innovations such as fully developing themselves to attract investors, thereby balancing up financially. Gifts Uwagbo reporting for BeeTv News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says it has no plan to revoke the licenses of more deposit banks. The Harper's Bank Acting Director, Corporate Communication, Mrs. Akama Sidi Ali, said this in a statement in Abuja. This is coming in response to the allegation in some quarters of the media of plans to revoke the licenses of Unity, Keystone and Polaris banks following the withdrawal of the operating license of Heritage Bank. The acting director said the Harper's Bank is reassuring all stakeholders of its commitment to ensuring the financial system stability. According to her, the nation's financial system remains on a solid footing and CBN would continue to take all necessary steps to maintain its safety. And on business news tonight, the federal government is optimistic that the successful implementation of its compressed natural gas initiative will save the country at least 4.4 billion naira from its total annual spendings on fuel importation. This is as the Tinubu-led administration seeks ways to foster sustainable energy solutions and reduce carbon emissions while also cushioning the impact of fuel subsidy removal, which has led to a significant increase in the price of PMS. BeeTv News Regina Ojama has details of this and more from the business scene.
Speaking during the meeting of stakeholders in Abuja on Tuesday, Zanayu Tambiri, the coordinator of regulatory compliance and facilitation of PCNG, said the efforts were ongoing to ensure that the vehicle conversion processing aligned with international standards. According to Tambiri, the government expects CNG to replace 20% of the current 50 million liters of petrol consumption in the country daily, adding that about $890 million investment will be required to develop the CNG infrastructure by the country. He also explained that efforts were ongoing to ensure that the conversion process aligned with international standards. According to him, the initiative will ensure that conversion centers are properly accredited and licensed to operate with qualified technicians and standard conversion kits. He explained that working with the Standard Organization of Nigeria, Federal Road Safety Corps, and the National Automotive Design and Development Council, the program is going to be implemented using the gas vehicle monitoring and surveillance system. The Naira on Tuesday remained calm across the foreign exchange market as the dollar sales urged by 94.46% at the official market. The Naira closed flat, losing 0.06% as the dollar was quoted at 1,476 Naira 95 kobo on Tuesday compared to 1,476 Naira 12 kobo quoted on Monday at the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. According to the market summary released by the FMDQ Security Exchange Limited, the dollar sales by willing buyers and willing sellers increased significantly by 94.46% to $236.99 million on Tuesday from $100 $121.87 million recorded on Monday. According to the market summary, the intraday high closed tragedy at $1,500 per dollar, while the intraday low depreciated to 1,362 naira 15 kobo on Tuesday, as against 1,250 naira $1 closed on Monday. This local currency instead died at the rate of between 1,480 naira and 1,500 naira on the parallel market, also known as black market. Nigeria Palm Oil Company Presco is presently in talks to acquire a 100% equity stake in the Ghana Oil Palm Development Company. The acquisition is projected to amount to $124.9 million, with the purchase of 70,580 ordinary share of acquired Ghana Palm Oil Company at the price of $177 per share. According to a corporate disclosure by Presco assigned by Nairametrics, Presco will make an initial deposit of $64962 million, with the remaining balance to be settled in the future. Presco expects that the deal will help in its currency diversification effort, as Ghana Oil Palm Company generates about 41% of its revenue from export sale. And that's it on Business News Tonight. Regina Ojomo reporting for BeeTv News.
And now to the global news segment. We begin from the Middle East, where the Israeli military has started a ground operation against Hamas in the Bureid refugee camp near Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Supported by airstrikes, the Israel Defense Forces are targeting terrorists and terrorist infrastructure, both above and below ground. BeeTv News global correspondent Rebecca Godfrey has details of this report and more.
Palestinians in the area reported heavy bombardment overnight, with health officials stating at least 15 people were killed. Meanwhile, U.S., Egyptian and Qatari mediators are meeting to discuss a new ceasefire and hostage release deal. The U.S. is waiting for a response from Hamas to an Israeli proposal, which Qatar has already delivered to Hamas representatives. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden's new executive order aims to reduce record migrants' arrivals at the U.S. Mexico border by quickly removing illegal entrants without processing asylum requests. This move has faced criticism from both Republican rivals and some Democrats. Republicans, including Donald Trump and Senator Ted Cruz, accused Biden of a political stunt, arguing for tougher measures. Trump claimed Biden has surrendered the U.S. southern border. Biden responded by blaming Republicans for blocking a bipartisan border security deal in Congress. Left-wing Democrats and activists also criticized the plan. Despite the backlash, Biden defended the order, saying it would help control the border and urged critics to be patient. A local politician in Mannheim, Germany, was attacked with a knife 5 days after a police officer was fatally stabbed in the same area. The victim, Heinrich Kosch, 62, a candidate for the far-right Alternative for German AfD party, sustained cuts, but his injuries were not life-threatening. The attack occurred on Tuesday evening. Kosch was injured after chasing a man who was tearing down election posters. Police arrested a 25-year-old suspect who was taken to a psychiatric hospital due to signs of mental illness. Authorities stated there was no evidence the suspect knew Kosch was an AfD politician. The incident followed a fatal attack by an Afghan asylum seeker on a police officer and 5 others during preparations for an anti-radical Islam rally. The government has since suggested it may resume deportations to Afghanistan. And lastly, a 23-year-old woman died after being attacked by a dog at a house in Ballinetty, County Limerick, around 11:40 p.m. on Tuesday. Paramedics treated her, but she died at the scene. Gadai, Irish police found several aggressive dogs, destroying one and seizing 3 others. The woman's body was taken to University Hospital Limerick for a post-mortem examination. RTE reported that the dog destroyed was an SL bully, with the other suspected to be restricted breeds. Irish Minister for Rural and Community Development, Heather Humphreys, expressed shock and condolences to the family. She emphasized the need for stronger dog control laws and mentioned a cross-governmental group led by retired Deputy Gather Commissioner John Toomey to review the restricted breed list and take necessary actions. And that's it on the Global News segment for tonight. Thanks very much for watching. I am Rebecca Goffey.
And to entertainment news tonight, Nigerian music star D'banj has celebrated his longtime friend and collaborator Don Jazzy at the two mark 2 decades in the music industry, sharing his appreciation on social media during a meeting where he invited Don Jazzy to his 20 years anniversary. BeeTv News Gift Uwagboy has details of these and more from the entertainment scene.
D'banj expressed deep nostalgia and appreciation for Don Jazzy, highlighting the significant impact their partnership has had on his career. The anniversary dinner, an event commemorating D'banj's illustrious career, served as a reminder of the duo's shared history. Over the years, D'banj and Don Jazzy have been instrumental in shaping the Nigerian music scene, with their collaboration leading to numerous hits and widespread acclaim. Their partnership, which began in the early 2000s, has been marked by groundbreaking achievements and deep mutual respect. Don Jazzy, now the founder of Maven Records, is a renowned producer and a co-founder of defunct Mohit Record, which played a pivotal role in the band's rise to stardom. Afrobeat sensation Joseph Akinfewa Donus, popularly known as Joe Boy, has revealed the inspiration behind his hit song Better. The Adenuga crooner explained that he wrote the song in a bid to shed light on domestic violence against women. He disclosed this in a recent interview with popular media personality Beefs. Joe Boy said domestic abuse is something that happens a lot in African society. He said sometimes women are maltreated and not treated properly, and he wanted to shed light on domestic violence against women. Joe Boy recently announced his decision to launch Young Legend, his new label, in partnership with Warner Group, aimed at nurturing the next generation of music talents. Lastly, on entertainment, Nigerian actor Damilola Ogunsi, known as Goldfish, recently spoke about his personal experiences as an Abido work in the movie industry. In a recent interview with German publication, Ogunsi revealed that he had encountered discriminations from a director who questioned his choice to pursue acting due to his albinism. Damilola Ogunsi stated that despite facing such challenges, he believes that his uniqueness as an albino has given him a special place in the competitive Nollywood industry. He speaks on understanding the importance of representation and inclusion in storytelling through acting. Damilola Ogunsi shares hope to inspire others with albinism who aspire to pursue a career in acting, encouraging them to follow their dreams and defy stereotypes. That's it on entertainment news tonight. Gifts Uwagboy reporting for BeeTv News.
And of course, from the sports desk tonight, the Super Eagles camp in Uyo ahead of 2026 World Cup qualifiers match against the Bafana of South Africa. Atlanta winger Demola Lookman and Fulham midfielder Alex Iwobi are the latest players to join the Super Eagles camp for training. This brings the total numbers of players in camp to 22. Let's join our BeeTv News sports correspondent Uyi Lambert for more.
Ademola Lookman and Alex Iwobi have arrived at Super Eagles camp in Uyo ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against South Africa and Benin Republic. The duo's arrival has increased the number of players in camp to 22. The arrival was announced on the Super Eagles official X platform today. Lookman and Iwobi are expected to take part in the team's training session at the training pitch of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, this evening. Indonesia of Italy goalkeeper Maduka Okoye is the only player yet to hit the team's Ibom Hotel Resort camp. The Jaws side will entertain the Bafana of South Africa at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium on Friday. Former Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur manager Antonio Conte has been appointed the new boss of Napoli on a 3-year deal. 4-year-old has not managed since he left Spurs by mutual consent in March 2023 after 16 months in charge. Despite the disappointing time in North London, Conte has had a decorated coaching career after winning the Premier League in his first season at Chelsea 2016 to 2017 and the FA Cup in his second before being sacked in 2018. Napoli is a place of global importance. I am happy and excited at the idea of sitting on the blue bench, Conte said, who guided Inter Milan to their first Serie A title in 11 years back in 2021. The Italian also guided the dominant Juventus to 3 Serie A titles in a row between 2011 to 2014. Napoli, who won Serie A for first time in 33 years last year, have struggled to replicate that achievement and finished 10th in the league. Carlos Alcaraz made light work of Stefanos Tsitsipas to set up a tantalizing French Open semi-final against incoming world number 1 Jannik Sinner. Spanish third seed Alcaraz 21 won 6-3, 7-6, 7-3, 6-4 against Greek 9th seed Tsitsipas on Roland Garros clay. It was the second year running that Alcaraz has dismantled 2021 runner-up Tsitsipas in the quarterfinals at the Paris Major. The reigning Wimbledon champion has now won all 6 of his career meetings against Tsitsipas. Meanwhile, second seed Sinner continued his pursuit of a second straight Grand Slam title by comfortably seeing off Gregor Dimitrov earlier on Tuesday. And that's a bit on the sport news segment tonight on BeeTv News. I'm Muyi Lemba. Thanks for always watching us. Good evening.
And that closes the curtains for tonight's broadcast. So join us same time tomorrow for yet another exciting news package. I am Esoya Osemege. Good night.